Fourth place. Not first, not second, not third. Fourth. That's where Toyota's SUV range landed when Canstar Blue asked 1,846 Australians how satisfied they actually were with the SUV sitting in their driveway. The survey was finalised in September of last year. 3 brands finished ahead of the company that built its entire Australian empire on the word reliable. One of them had barely existed here 15 years ago. That was September. By this year, Toyota was putting the price of a new RAV4 up by as much as 10.95% and asking Australians to wait 3 to 6 months for the privilege. The reputation nobody checks. Here's the thing about Toyota's reputation in this country. It's real. It was earned. Nobody is disputing that a Hilux will still be running when the sun burns out, or that a 2009 Corolla with 300,000 kilometres on it will start on the first turn of the key every single morning. But reputation is a lagging indicator. It measures what a company did 15 years ago, not what it's doing on the production line in Aichi Prefecture this week. And in Australia, the gap between what Toyota's badge promises and what Toyota's owners actually report has quietly opened up into something worth talking about. 15 years ago, Toyota won the Canstar Blue SUV Award in 2016, then again in 2017. Then it shared the title with Hyundai in 2021. And since 2021, nothing. Kia took it in 2022. Subaru took it in 2023, and then took it again in 2024. And in the most recent ratings, a Chinese brand that Australians were laughing at a decade ago walked away with 5 stars for reliability, while Toyota sat in 4th place watching. That's not a mechanic's opinion. That's what Toyota's own customers said, compared to what everyone else's customers said, in a survey where the brand needed at least 30 responses just to be included. So this is not a video about which engine lasts longest. Toyota still wins plenty of those arguments. This is a report on something more uncomfortable for anyone about to hand over $60,000 at a Toyota dealership. Because ownership isn't just about whether the thing breaks. It's about what happens when it does, how long you're covered for, what the service department charges you, and whether you'd tell a mate to buy the same car. 6 SUVs. 6 sets of receipts. Counting down to the one that genuinely should have Toyota's Australian executives sitting in a very quiet meeting room. Number 6. The Mitsubishi Outlander. Start with the paperwork, because the paperwork is where this gets awkward. Buy a new Toyota RAV4 from a Toyota dealership in Melbourne tomorrow, and you're covered by a 5-year, unlimited kilometre warranty. Stretch that to 7 years on the driveline if you service it inside the Toyota network, and that's your lot. 5 years of capped price servicing at $260 a visit, which is genuinely cheap. Then you're on your own. Buy a Mitsubishi Outlander from the dealership across the road, and you're covered for 10 years or 200,000 kilometres. 10 years of capped price servicing to match. And since December of 2025, Mitsubishi extended what it had been calling the Diamond Advantage 10/10 program into a 10/10/10 package, adding a decade of roadside assistance on top. That's not a typo, by the way. Double the warranty term of Australia's most trusted car brand, from a company most buyers stopped taking seriously somewhere around the time the Magna went out of production. There's a catch, and it's a real one worth stating plainly. Mitsubishi's 10-year cover is conditional. Every single service has to be done at an authorised Mitsubishi dealer. Miss one? Take it to your local independent workshop for a cheap oil change, and the coverage collapses back to 5 years or 100,000 kilometres. Mitsubishi has the tightest conditions in the country on this, and if you're the sort of owner who has a bloke down the road who does your servicing for cash, this warranty is worth almost nothing to you. And the servicing isn't free money either. Outlander owners inside the network pay an average of around $404 a year for petrol variants and around $549 for the plug-in hybrid. That's meaningfully more than the RAV4's $260. Over 10 years, you're paying roughly $4,000 in capped servicing to hold onto a warranty you might never claim on. But run the numbers honestly. Toyota gives you 5 years of cover and then walks away. Mitsubishi gives you a decade on the condition you keep coming back. And for a family SUV that's going to be doing school runs in Penrith and highway hauls to the coast for the next 10 years, the year 8 transmission failure is the one that ends marriages. Toyota's answer to that failure is an invoice. Mitsubishi's answer is a repair. The Outlander PHEV adds another wrinkle. Australians have taken to it because the electric-only range covers most suburban commuting, which means the petrol engine spends half its life switched off. An engine that isn't running isn't wearing out. It's a crude form of reliability, but it's reliability all the same. Number 6 on the list, and already Toyota's cover looks like something written in 2019 and never revisited. Number 5. The Isuzu MUX. In 11 years of running its customer satisfaction survey, Canstar Blue had never once given an automotive brand a perfect score. Not Toyota, not Mazda, not anyone. Then in 2021, Isuzu UT Australia scored 5 stars in all 7 categories. Overall satisfaction, reliability, value for money, driving experience, after-sales service, point-of-sale service, and car servicing. Every single one. First time it had ever happened. And it happened to a brand that sells precisely 2 vehicles in this country, the D-Max Ute and the MUX wagon, both built in the same plant in Samut Prakan, Thailand. Isuzu was the only automotive brand that year to be awarded 5 stars for reliability. Toyota wasn't. The engineering underneath explains a lot of it. The MUX doesn't have a timing belt. It uses a heavy-duty steel timing chain designed to last the life of the engine in a double scissors gear arrangement that eliminates backlash on deceleration and cuts engine wear. If you've ever paid for a timing belt replacement on a European SUV at 180,000 kilometres, you'll understand exactly why that matters. It's a line item that simply never appears in an MUX owner's life. The 3-litre 4 JJ3 TCX turbo diesel is the backbone of the range, making 140 kilowatts and 450 Newton-meters. It's not fast. Nobody buys one because it's fast. They buy it because it's built to withstand higher temperatures and pressures than the engines it competes against, and because it'll tow 3.5 tons of caravan across the Nullarbor without complaining. Isuzu backs the whole thing with a 6-year, 150,000 kilometre bumper-to-bumper warranty, plus a roadside assistance program that runs up to 7 years and resets every time a dealer touches the car. You'd think someone at Toyota would have noticed. The MUX sits directly opposite the Fortuner and undercuts the Prado by thousands, and it's been eating both of their lunches for years. Now, some balance, because this channel doesn't do sales pitches. The MUX is not perfect. Independent Australian reviewers have been blunt that the engine and transmission combination is reasonably reliable without being the indestructible monolith Isuzu's marketing implies. The interior in the entry-level LSM is underdone. You still get a turnkey ignition and a small screen. Features like one-touch windows are missing even in higher grades. And the warranty caps out at 150,000 kilometres, which for a vehicle marketed at people who tow caravans and drive to the Flinders Ranges is a genuinely tight ceiling. Toyota's 5 years is unlimited kilometres. Isuzu's 6 years is not. But that's the trade. You lose some kilometre coverage and some cabin polish. You gain an engine with a timing chain, a brand that scored a perfect record with its own customers, and a purchase price several $1,000s under the equivalent Ford Everest and well under a Prado. Number 4. The Subaru Forester. 2 years in a row. Subaru won Canstar Blue's Most Satisfied Customers Award for SUVs in 2023 and then did it again in 2024. Back to back. During that same stretch, Toyota won nothing. And in the 2023 new car ratings, Subaru wasn't just the winner. It was the only vehicle manufacturer in Australia to receive 5 stars for the reliability of its cars and 5 stars for the driving experience. 5 stars for value for money as well, plus features, appearance, and upgrades and extras. Subaru's own customers, rating a car they'd bought in the previous 5 years, put the brand at the top of every category that matters. This decision seemed small at the time. It wasn't. What Subaru proved is that the reliability crown in Australia isn't Toyota's by right. It's a rolling title. And the moment your owners stop feeling like they got what they paid for, you lose it. The Forester itself is a study in refusing to chase fashion. The 6th-generation car still runs a 2.5-litre 4-cylinder boxer engine and Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system, an architecture the company has been refining for decades rather than replacing every model cycle. It carries the maximum 5-star ANCAP rating from 2024 testing, with 9 airbags including a far side airbag and a front passenger seat cushion airbag, plus a driver monitoring system with a safe stop function that will bring the car to a gradual halt if it detects the driver has stopped responding. That is not a feature you find on a base model RAV4. Real-world range sits at close to 780 kilometres from the 63-litre tank before you load it with kids, dogs and camping gear. Here's where the honesty has to come in. In the most recent 2025 SUV ratings, Subaru actually slipped to 5th, 1 place behind Toyota. So Subaru is not currently beating Toyota on owner satisfaction. It beat Toyota comprehensively in 2023 and 2024, held the title for 2 consecutive years, and has now fallen just behind. And the Boxer engine has a cost. That horizontally opposed layout is more expensive to maintain than a conventional inline-4, and Subaru's servicing bill proves it. The MY26 range runs 5 years or 75,000 kilometres of capped price servicing, but the individual visits are 347, 520, 393, 679, and $358. That averages out to about $460 a year. Toyota charges $260. So the Forester costs you nearly double to service, over a 5-year warranty that matches Toyota's exactly. Which, looking at it coldly, is either a premium worth paying for a car your fellow owners rated above every other SUV in the country 2 years running, or it isn't. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. This channel breaks down Australian car ownership costs every week without the dealership talking points. Number 3. The Kia Sportage. While everyone was arguing about which Japanese brand builds the toughest engine, Kia quietly changed the rules of the Australian market and nobody stopped them. In 2014, Kia introduced a 7-year, unlimited kilometre warranty in this country. At the time, 3 years was standard and 5 years was generous. Kia's move was widely dismissed as a desperate stunt from a brand nobody wanted. More than a decade later, Kia is still one of the very few manufacturers offering 7 years with no kilometre cap and no requirement to service inside the dealer network to keep it. Unlimited, unconditional, transferable to whoever buys the car off you. Toyota, in 2026, still offers 5. And it isn't just the warranty. Kia buyers get 7 years of capped price servicing and 8 years of complimentary roadside assistance. 8. Toyota charges $99 a year for roadside assistance across its entire model lineup, which is a premium over most manufacturers in this market. Then look at the survey. Kia won the Canstar Blue SUV award outright in 2022. And in the 2025 ratings, Kia finished 3rd for overall satisfaction, ahead of Toyota in 4th. Kia's own owners are happier than Toyota's own owners, on a car that costs less and comes with 2 more years of cover. The Sportage backs it up on the showroom floor in a way that's getting hard for Toyota to answer. It starts at $37,990 before on-road costs and offers petrol, turbo petrol, diesel and 2 hybrid options. The RAV4 range now starts at $45,990 and it's hybrid only. There is no non-hybrid petrol or diesel option in the new RAV4 at all. If you want a cheap, simple, naturally aspirated family SUV from Toyota, that product no longer exists. The Sportage even beats it on the thing Toyota is supposed to own, which is practicality. Reviewers driving the new RAV4 noted that keeping it on the existing wheelbase means rear seat room remains behind the best in class, and that taller passengers will find more leg space elsewhere. Elsewhere, specifically, being a Sportage. The rear doors on the RAV4 don't open particularly wide either, which anyone who has wrestled a rear-facing child seat into a car park at Westfield will appreciate. The counter-argument is resale, and it's a fair one. A RAV4 hybrid holds its value better than almost anything in the segment, and that gap is real money at trade-in time. Buy the Kia, save $8,000 up front, and you may hand a chunk of it back in 3 years. That's the honest maths. But there's a question buried in that maths that Toyota would rather you didn't ask. If the RAV4 holds its value because it's reliable, and Kia owners are reporting higher satisfaction than Toyota owners, then what exactly is holding the resale up? The engineering, or the story we've all agreed to tell each other about the engineering? Number 2. The Ford Everest. This is the one that should sting. Ford. In Australia. ranked above Toyota for SUV owner satisfaction in the 2025 Canstar Blue ratings. Second place overall, with Toyota 2 rungs below in fourth. Ask any Australian over 40 to rank Ford and Toyota on reliability, and you'll get the same answer every time, usually with a story about a Falcon attached. That answer is now out of date, and the people who own the cars are the ones telling you so. The Everest is the reason. It's a ladder frame, 7-seat, diesel 4-wheel drive that goes head-to-head with the Land Cruiser Prado, and it has become a genuine smash hit with off-road enthusiasts, which is about the most skeptical, least brand-loyal buying group in this country. These are people who inspect chassis rails in Bunnings car parks. They do not spend $80,000 on hope. Ford covers it with a 5-year, unlimited kilometre warranty, 5 years of capped price servicing averaging $379 a year, and up to 7 years of complimentary roadside assistance. So the warranty matches Toyota exactly, and Ford throws in 5 more years of roadside than Toyota gives away. Now put the Prado next to it, because this is where the story turns. In May of 2026, Toyota Australia announced a safety recall covering approximately 13,042 Land Cruiser Prados built between the 24th of June 2024 and the 21st of June 2025. The problem was a software error in the combination meter. On startup, sections of the instrument cluster might simply fail to display. Engine oil pressure, engine coolant temperature, electrical charge, warning messages. The recall notice was blunt about it, stating that failure of the instrument cluster to display critical safety information may increase the risk of an accident causing injury or death to vehicle occupants and other road users. Nearly 2,600 Lexus SUVs were caught in the same campaign. 6 months later, a second Prado recall surfaced. 524 vehicles, this time because the optional electric brake controller fitment instructions were wrong, and the driver's airbag may have been reinstalled with incorrect torque on the bolts. Toyota's own language was that the bolts may loosen and the airbag may not deploy as designed in the event of a collision. And it doesn't stop at the Prado. 13,390 Hilux Utes from the 2025 and 2026 model years were recalled over a power steering issue, where the wire harness ground connection may have been reinstalled incorrectly during genuine bull bar or nudge bar fitment, potentially causing sudden loss of power steering assist while driving. The Land Cruiser 300 series from 2021 to 2024 copped a transmission recall over a control module that could confuse drive modes. The Prado is Toyota's third best-selling model in Australia, behind only the Hilux and the RAV4. So the two biggest sellers in Toyota's Australian range both had 5-figure recall campaigns on cars people bought specifically to avoid this exact experience. To be fair, and this matters, every manufacturer recalls vehicles. Toyota sells enormous volume, so even a small defect rate produces a large recall number. Toyota also acts fast, fixes it free, and pushed the Prado software fix out over the air, so most owners never had to book a dealer visit. That's a well-run process. But process isn't the point. The point is that the emotional contract Australians signed with Toyota was never, "We'll fix it quickly." It was, "It won't break." And when your instrument cluster stops telling you your oil pressure and Ford's owners are rating their trucks higher than yours, that contract has been quietly renegotiated without telling the customer. Number 1. Great Wall Motor. The winner of Canstar Blue's 2025 SUV ratings from 1,846 surveyed Australians was GWM. 5 stars for reliability, 5 stars for value for money, 5 stars for features, appearance, upgrades and extras, and overall satisfaction. Toyota did not receive 5 stars for reliability. GWM did. Read that again. A Chinese brand that arrived in Australia in 2009 and spent its first decade as a punchline is now rated by Australian owners as the most satisfying SUV brand in the country, with a perfect reliability score, while Toyota sits in 4th place. The range is the Haval Jolion, the Haval H6, the Tank 300 and the Tank 500 in petrol, hybrid and electric. GWM covers all of it with a 7-year, unlimited kilometre warranty, plus 8 years unlimited kilometres on the high-voltage battery in the electrified models, 5 years of capped price servicing and 5 years of roadside assistance. The Tank 500 goes further, with 7 years of capped servicing and roadside included. Use the car commercially and the warranty tightens to 7 years or 150,000 kilometres, which is worth knowing if you're buying under an ABN. 7 years, unlimited kilometres. Toyota gives you 5. The Tank 500 is the number that should worry Toyota most because it's now a direct rival to the Prado, and Toyota still hasn't landed a Prado hybrid in Australia. Toyota's own position on that has been that the hybrid Prado isn't quite what they want for this market, which is a remarkable sentence from the company that invented the mainstream hybrid, while GWM and Hyundai are already selling hybrid 7-seaters here. Here's the honest caveat, and it's a significant one. GWM's win is a customer satisfaction result, not a 15-year durability study. These are owners rating cars bought in the last 5 years. Nobody knows yet what a Haval H6 looks like at 200,000 kilometres in 2035 because not enough of them have got there. Toyota's reputation was built on exactly the long-tail data that GWM does not yet have. A brand can score 5 stars from happy new owners and still have a parts supply problem or a resale collapse waiting in year 7. That risk is real and you should price it in. But there's a second thing in that data, and it's the uncomfortable one. Toyota does have the 15 years of long-tail data. Toyota has the reputation, the dealer network, the parts supply, and the resale values. Toyota has every structural advantage a car company can have in this market, and it's still finished 4th. What this actually costs you. Step back from the individual badges for a second, because the pattern across all 6 is the same and it has nothing to do with engines. Every one of these brands is competing on how they treat you after the sale. 7 years unlimited from Kia and GWM, 10 years from Mitsubishi, 6 years bumper to bumper, and 7 years roadside from Isuzu. 8 years of roadside from Kia. Ford throwing in 7 years of roadside on a car that matches Toyota's warranty exactly. Toyota's response to all of it has been 5 years, a $99 annual roadside charge, and a price rise. The new RAV4 starts at $45,990 before on-roads, up $3,730 on the model it replaced. The Cruiser 2-wheel drive, which makes up the largest chunk of sales, is up $5,580. Across the range, the rises run as high as 10.95%. The hybrid powertrain actually makes less power than before, down to 143 kilowatts. And you'll wait 3 to 6 months for one, according to Toyota Australia's own spokesperson, with the plug-in hybrid stretching longer than that. Toyota has been open about what it wants from this car. It expects the new RAV4 to not just lead the segment, but potentially become Australia's #1 selling vehicle outright, past the Ford Ranger and past its own Hilux. That's the ambition. Less power, more money, longer wait, same 5-year warranty. Independent Australian reviewers who drove the pre-production cars at Toyota's Anglesea Proving Ground came away describing the powertrain response as duller than the outgoing model, and were not convinced the recipe works. When the outgoing RAV4's sales fell 65% in January as stock ran out, Toyota's overall sales dropped 22% in a single month. That's the position. Toyota is asking Australians to pay more, wait longer, and accept less cover than Kia, GWM or Mitsubishi will hand them without being asked, on the strength of a reputation that its own customers rated 4th. The part nobody at Toyota wants to say out loud. Toyota's story isn't unique, and that's the real lesson buried in this data. Every dominant brand eventually reaches the point where the reputation is doing more work than the product. The reputation is free money. It lets you charge more, offer less, and wait longer, because the customer has already decided before they walk in the door. Holden had it. Ford had it, until it didn't. And the moment a brand starts spending that reputation faster than it earns it, the survey results move first, and the sales move about 3 years later. The 6 SUVs in this report are not miracle machines. The Outlander's warranty comes with the tightest servicing conditions in the country. The MUX's cover stops dead at 150,000 kilometres. The Forester costs nearly double to service. The Sportage will lose you money at trade-in. The Everest is more expensive than an MUX for the same job. And nobody knows what a GWM looks like in 2035. None of that changes the number. 4th place. From 1,846 Australians rating the SUV they actually own, with their actual money, in their actual driveway. If you're about to buy a Toyota, buy it because you compared the warranty terms, the servicing schedule, and the recall history against 3 rivals, and it still won. That's a good reason. Buy it because the badge means reliable and everyone knows it, and you're paying a premium for a story that Toyota's own customers have quietly stopped telling. One thing before you go, because this matters and it changes fast. Every warranty figure, servicing cost, and capped price program in this report can change between model years, and some of them changed while this was being researched. Confirm the current terms on the brand's own website before you sign anything, not on the dealership's laminated sheet. If this changed how you're thinking about your next SUV, tell me in the comments which brand you'd actually trust with 10 years of your life. And the video on screen right now breaks down the 4 car brands that outlast Toyota in Australia and cost less to repair. Click it.